Hi there, this is Dave from videoeffectsuniverse.com, and today's tutorial is in Adobe After Effects, and what we're going to be creating is a satellite look at the Earth when it gets hit by a meteor or an atomic bomb on the surface. What we're going to be using are some image maps and a short video of an explosion. All of these are available to download with this tutorial from videoeffectsuniverse.com. Okay, so you don't need to look for any additional content. You can get this all with this tutorial once you download it from the site. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing is just close this down, is creating a new composition. So new composition, okay, yeah, that looks fine. Okay, and first things first, we're going to bring in our map of the Earth. Okay, if I bring it out, you can see it's very, very large. Okay, so what I'm going to do is scale it down by pressing S. Okay, that looks quite good. I'm going to try and centre it over America. Alright, okay, that's fit to screen. That looks a bit too far out, so if I just scale it up a little bit more. Okay, there we go. We have a better view of the country now. Okay, that looks a lot better. Now, first things first, what we want to do is create our initial flash, which you always get with a nuclear explosion. First things first, I'm just going to bring the comp down to half, just to speed things up, because you will be finding out that things start to slow down after a while, because this does take up a lot of memory. Right. First things first, layer, new adjustment layer. Okay, and as you can see, this composition is 11 seconds long, and about 1 second into it, what we're going to do is create a lens flare. So generate, where's that gone? Lens flare. Okay. Now what you want to try and do is try and find where you want the actual explosion to happen. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to put my explosion just above the anchor point here. Okay, so it's just almost in the centre. I'm going to change the preset to 105mm prime. Okay, actually, now I'll just bring it below it and to the left. There we go. That's quite good. Now what we want to do is animate the lens flare. Go into your adjustment panel, effects, lens flare, flare center, don't need to worry about that, flare brightness, I'm going to bring this down to 0, okay. Then on 2 seconds, I'm going to bring the flare brightness right up so that it almost flares out the whole screen, not completely. Okay, and then a bit further on, I'm going to bring it right down to 0 again. So what we have in the space of about 2 to 3 seconds is a massive flash. You can extend this out a little bit more if you want to. Okay, but now that we've got our lens flare set up, hold on, I'm going to press Alt and left bracket and Alt and right bracket just to close off the layer. Just so that's our flash, so we know how big that is. Okay. Right, now that we've got our flash, we need to add in our explosion. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to try and do is bring the comp down to around about 7 seconds. Okay. So composition settings and 7. Okay. So we don't need it to be that large. Right, and if you want to, you can actually move this along a little bit further so you can get an idea of what you're looking at before the initial explosion happens. Right, now what we're going to do is go into our project file here, and I'm going to add an explosion. This is a short MOV QuickTime file of an explosion. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right in the centre here. What I'm going to do is turn off the lens flare for a second, and what you can see is we have a very basic explosion. Okay, obviously it's got black all around it, so what we want to try and do is change that by going to Effect, Channel, Set Matte and Luminance. Now as you can see, you just have the explosion without the black bits around the corner, but the problem at the moment is the explosion fades out very, very quickly. So what we want to try and do is extend the explosion. So I'm going to right click the explosion layer, go to time stretch, and I'm going to stretch it to around about 500. Okay, so now what we have is a slow motion video of the explosion. You can move it along if you want. Okay, just to make it last longer and doesn't look like it's fading out too quickly. But obviously, because you've extended the length of it, you've actually made it a slow motion clip. Now, at the moment, it's going to look like those dodgy CCTV cameras that like record once every 2 seconds, and it looks quite sharp and jaggedy each frame. So what we want to try and do, if I just press F4, okay, and what we're going to do, you see this button here. This is the frame blend option. Okay, so if I turn this on the explosion, you now see that we've got a pixelated jagged line going this way. If you click it again, you've now got a straight line. Now what this does is actually smooths the footage so it looks like it's a very nice smooth slow motion clip. Kind of like when you see a film where you've got a load of heroes walking towards the camera. Okay, that's basically the effect that this will give. And what you need to do once you've done that is select this as well. Now this enables the frame blending for the whole comp, but with this on for the whole comp, it will slow down your work. Okay, so you don't want this on at the moment, so just turn that off. But remember to turn that on when you come to your final render. So now you should have a nice smoother explosion. Now, as you can see, it's a bit too big, even for a nuclear explosion. So what we want to do is press S to scale it right down. Okay, and we've got to find out where our lens flare center is. Okay, so if we just turn that back on, let's find out where that is. So it's just about there. So I'm just going to move it along here so we can see where our explosion is, and move it right on the center of the lens flare. There we go. Now I can move it back again. Turn off the lens flare. Okay, now what we have is our impact explosion on the ground. Now it doesn't look very good at the moment, so what we're going to try and do is add a glow to it. So go to Effect, Stylize a Glow. Okay, and we're going to change the glow threshold to 28.6. We're going to change the glow radius to 380. And we're going to change the glow intensity to 1.6. Okay. Now what we'll get is much more of an intensified glow around the explosion. Okay. I still think we might need to scale this down a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Now we've got our explosion. What we're going to try and do now is create the initial shockwave that you get with the impact. Okay. So what we're going to try and do is go to Composition, New Composition, and we're going to call this shockwave. Okay, what we're going to do is create a layer, a new solid layer. I'm going to make this black. Okay. What we're going to do now is get our Earth map, Control C to copy it, go into our shockwave, Control V to paste it. Okay, so now we've got our map of America in our second composition we have here now. Now what we want to do again is go to Layer, New Solid. Okay, I'm going to make this a kind of a nice yellowy orange colour. Okay. Now what we want to do is get the elliptical mask tool and bring this in. Okay. And I'm going to create another one over the top of that as well. Right. Now here comes the tricky bit. You've got to try and set these up. Okay, so I'm just going to open that up, set up the masking for these, so you've got the right type set up for it. The first one's going to be set as add. The second mask is going to be set as subtract, and we're going to tick both of these. Okay, so now what we have is what looks like a massive ring. Okay, so if I turn off the masks, you can see we've got a ring. Okay, so we might want to feather these out. Okay, feather the inside bit out, and also in mask 2, feather this out too. So now we've got kind of like a nice ring around it.